Hi, I'm your host, Jackie Naaman Jones, and this is Jackie's Hand of Horror. Today, I've got Tanya Atomic, my co-host, with me.
Hello.
And our other co-host, Rachel Jackson.
Howdy.
And on today's show, we're talking about zombie animals. Well, for our movie trailer review today, we just watched the review of Zombievers from 2014. Wow.
What did I just watch?
Wow. It was
crazy stuff.
It was very much in the style of all these movies with cute little girls in bikinis and mindless and their dumb boyfriends. And
yeah, their even dumber boyfriends gaslighting them. I really enjoyed that Where's Waldo was there in the lake being like, nothing's happening with these spooky beavers.
Well, then at least he got his foot chewed off. Yeah, that was a little bit...
Trailer spoiler alert.
Yeah. It's
I would
trailer.
say it's done that way on purpose, though. It's like super over the top, and it's using all the, cheesy, horrible stuff that you see in old...
Oh, yeah, like the old tobacco spitting guy saying, they go, are there any beavers around here? And he's like, well, I see some, or whatever he said.
I mean, like, that had to happen at some point.
Of course.
That's just right there. I mean, but fortunately, he probably gets killed, too. Like, he would have to be, like, in tropes. He'd have to be killed, like, second to last or something like that.
You hope so.
Either that or he turns a corner and changes.
I hope not. He's too gross.
But yeah, he was pretty gross in that.
He's too gross to turn around much.
Here's the thing that I don't get. Beavers are already creepy, mean animals. Like, I wouldn't swim toward a beaver dam even if they weren't zombie beavers. You know? They're just like, no, they have sharp teeth and they're mean.
That's really dumb. Yeah.
It's like take a mean animal and make it even creepier, worse.
Yeah. And honestly, the worst part of the film, and this is another spoiler alert for a trailer, but
the trailer.
But do you guys need a trailer spoiler alert?
But there's that cute little dog in there, and in the trailer they show the dog get killed. I mean, that's it for me. I don't want to see this movie.
Now, is that a thing? Is that a trope? Cute little animals have to be sacrificed in the films as well?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cute little dog makes it.
Usually, the cute little one the cute little one makes it or not, but it's always a thing.
Right.
It's like either it makes it, it's like yay, or it doesn't. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I don't want to see it.
I would see this movie based on the name alone. So the trailer could have been terrible, and I would still want to see this movie.
I think they're counting on that.
Yeah. As it is, though, the trailer made me more want to see it, especially the last moment when... Did the beaver hollow out the girl and did she turn into a beaver? I don't know.
I think
someone's going on with a girl beaver transformation.
Yeah. All that orthodontic work out the door.
Yeah, orthodontists don't see this.
I think because of the WTF moments, like this is crazy, and the super over the top camp of it. I love that, so I would definitely see it.
You'd see it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you all tell me about what you thought then. And that's it on that one. All right, this movie review for our trailer was Zombies, 2016. Well, it was definitely in the style of Jurassic Park, and I have to say the animal effects were really good. I was surprised for a film like this with none of the actors that I really recognized. A couple of them maybe I'd seen in a few things, but nobody I could name, and I was actually really impressed.
Yeah, it seemed like a lower budget type direct to video maybe type film. But yeah, for that, it looked like it had pretty high production value in that category of films.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Comparing it to Zombievers, I have said it's their special effects are like above and beyond
way
what we just saw.
I was really impressed with those effects, especially the monkeys.
And basically it's zoo animals turning into zombies, and it's in a large That's how it was sort of like Jurassic Park. It's in a large park-like
Yeah.
setting.
Yes.
This is like a
An animal
safari
safari.
park.
Yeah.
And like these are like a bus full of interns have just arrived, and everything goes to hell.
Yeah, and they're all those classic basic characters you expect. There's always the the buff guy and the Asian guy and the gum chomping girl with her hair in a ponytail. It's like they had all those typical characters that you expect. But I would definitely watch this. It looked very entertaining, and it looked like it had some good comedy pieces in there. Hello, Mr. Koala.
Yeah, I've never been so eager to watch a kid get eaten by a koala than I am right now.
Sorry, whoever you are, little actress.
This movie.
But,
She doesn't really get eaten. It's okay.
yeah, not really.
Not really.
No actual children were killed.
The three of us erupted into laughter at a few times during this trip. I'm like, that's a good sign.
Yeah, at the same time. Yeah.
One thing about the whole thing that I think is hilarious and it bothers me in a lot of zombie movies is that everyone's going out zombie animal hunting wearing shorts.
Yeah,
It's just like,
right.
whoa, let's cover those extremities here, kids.
Zombie
It's like-
snakes and
Oh, heck
Yeah.
I'd have thigh-high wading boots and I don't know.
Yeah, or I wouldn't go out hunting them at all. I mean, yeah. I don't-
That's the truth. I wouldn't go out in the first place. So I would see it. I would definitely want to see this film.
I definitely want to see it. Like, it might even, like, be kind of high on my list to locate and watch now.
Okay.
And I want to see the new Thor movie soon, so I want to see this sooner.
Okay.
I say zombie giraffes. Hello, Mr. Koala.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And birds.
A must see.
That was interesting. It's
idea of
like
the
coming
ideas
out of
in
the
it.
sky.
Yeah.
That's bothersome.
Yeah, they're certainly going to spread it really quickly that way.
Yeah, them bird viruses. We know. So today, on our zombie animal episode for our idea section, our dark arts, we're talking about how to turn a cute, innocent teddy bear, a stuffed bear, into a man-eating grizzly zombie. We have Nudia here with us again today. Hello, thank you again. You're welcome. And Tanya and Rachel, of course.
Hello.
And Rachel found this one, which is absolutely appropriate, being the puppeteer and all. So Rachel, tell me how you came across this thing and what you think and talk about it.
Okay. Well, our old friend Google was our friend as usual. I Googled how to make a zombie animal, and have to give a thankful shout out to Lucy at a blog called Surpriseaholic, because apparently she was dressing up as a zombie child for Halloween one year and decided she needed a zombie stuffed teddy bear, like you do, of course. I mean, obviously. So this, we could also file this under super completeness in cosplay, if you like.
Yes.
But yeah, the basics of this are: you go to a thrift store, you get a stuffed bear or another stuffed animal if you'd prefer, and then you change it. You add details that make it look more zombie-like. In her case, she added like pointed teeth and a lot of red, so it looks like blood. And she kind of carved out its chest and created sort of a fake rib cage for it. It's really, really well done. It's creepy as heck.
Yeah, she used things like fingernails.
Yeah. It's all things you have around the house, it makes it extra wonderful in my book.
Yeah, entrails, I think she said, were plastic bag.
Mm-hmm. With more red paint in them. And I've used fake fingernails for teeth before, so I can second this as something that works ridiculously well.
I'm looking at the picture. It looks like she went and even cut them to make them more jagged like.
And I think she did this, but I think you can paint the eyes so they look more creepy, and definitely use that red paint to look like blood and guts and stuff.
Totally. And you could even take this further. Like, you could pop one of the eyes out and then kind of reattach it with some red things so it looks like it's got an eye hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Because zombies rot, you know, that happens.
Exactly, like reconstructed or something.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I just thought of this. You could even like get a doll arm and put it in its mouth or something like that, just for extra gross factor.
Oh yeah. Or a fake skeleton, like one of those Halloween skeletons that hang up. You take one of their arms and put it in its mouth, or have it sticking out of its gut like it already ate it.
Yeah, or like a little plastic brain or something.
Yeah, that would be cool.
The possibilities are endless.
Oh
Yes.
man, I'm totally doing this.
Yes. I mean, I should also say that's a design choice, right? Like looking at her extremely awesome zombie teddy bear, it looks pretty freshly turned, right?
It does.
Like the blood is pretty red, etc. If you want your zombie stuffed animal to be a little further along, then like you distress it a little bit more, I think.
Right, the rib cage is picked clean, and it shouldn't be that clean.
It's just more like the blood is red and stuff, and like its skin is still brown. Like I'm thinking you'd get some grays involved and have flaps of skin hanging out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hers is just zombified, like fresh.
Yeah.
You could have one that's been rotting for a while.
Yeah, like you'd paint it gray and maybe like distress it a little bit more with like a cheese grater or just cut some flaps so they're flapping loose.
Parts falling off.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe soak it in some tea.
And don't use only red for the blood, maybe combined with a little bit of bluish or purplish.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're getting creative here.
Yeah.
I know. I really want to make one now.
It's just one of the things I've liked on The Walking Dead as it's gone along is the zombies are clearly getting more and more deteriorated, and it's kind of fun to watch how they're doing that.
Oh yeah, progression.
Yeah.
Right. Everything ages, even zombies.
Yeah, but this is totally a fun rainy day craft for yourself and the children in your life. I mean, you've got little dark children that like to do twisted things. I was a pretty twisted child.
That's me too.
Yeah.
That's my granddaughter. She and I, yeah, that's a total fun.
Even maybe us when we were kids.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if you remember thinking about that, but I remember I was always just imagining in my mind how to dress as a tarantula. I remember I told you once. So, and I was like 5 years old. So, yeah, something like that.
I used to destroy my dolls. I'd cut their hair off and then I'd cut holes in them because I wanted to know what was inside, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So you were on the way
I didn't
there.
create any dolls. Yeah, they thought I was going to be a doctor or a mortician. Or a murderer, I don't know.
Right. It's a thin line. But
yeah, now I just get killed in film.
Well, exactly. I was going to say that. You can be all those in the acting life.
That's right.
Yes. So,
and all of us here talking, we explore those things in many directions.
yes, which is really cool.
But we haven't killed anybody.
We're doing what we do.
Well, we don't know.
My disclaimer, none of us have killed anyone that I know of.
no, I don't think so.
No, okay.
Well, I don't know what you guys have done.
I have dismembered many stuffed animals, though. That is true.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that reminds me real quick of a joke I read, something overheard in a Portland coffee shop. Somebody said to somebody else, "Do you know how many Muppets were killed to make that coat?"
Oh,
no.
Aww.
Aww.
Yeah.
It's okay. They don't feel pain. It's all right.
Are you sure?
I mean, they don't scream.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, they don't have voice boxes either, Rachel. Remember that. Well, that's it on our zombie animal or our dark art section, making a teddy bear into a man-eating grizzly. So we'll be posting some tips and hints, and we really encourage you to go off in your own direction on this. And if you make one, please share the pictures with us on the Facebook page.
Yeah, please do.
Hi, Tanya Tomic here. Thank you for joining us for our interview segment. Today we're here with Bill Oberst Jr. And we are going to be talking about, well, the first thing I wanted to ask you about was, since we're talking zombies, was Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with that film?
You had to bring that up, didn't you, Tanya? Well, you know what? I tried my best to play Abraham. I love Abraham Lincoln. I've always thought if Abraham Lincoln were fighting zombies, that he'd probably be the way he was fighting Confederates. He'd be resolute, and he might have a little bit of a sense of humor, and he might even have some sympathy for them. So that's why I tried to play him, was as if he actually were fighting zombies. I want to camp it up. And I got to do the Gettysburg Address, which I think is the only time the Gettysburg Address has been done in a zombie film.
Probably, yeah. I don't have any numbers on that, but
I wore high heels,
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I'm 5'9" on a really good day. And so I was the replacement Lincoln. They had a Lincoln who was like, he was like 6'4" or something, really tall guy. And it didn't work out between them for some reason. And so I got this emergency call from David Latt at the asylum, who said, can you get on a plane and fly to Savannah, Georgia in the morning and play Abraham Lincoln? And I was like, David, I'm 5'9". He said, you can stand on a box. It'll be fine. So they ordered me these shoes, and they're actually called the Tom Cruise. They are lifts, and they're modeled after the ones that Mr. Cruise wears, and they get you up, probably 3.5, maybe 4 inches. It's a good lift, but your foot is almost at a 90-degree angle. Tanya, I don't know if you wear high heels ever.
I do, yeah.
How do you do it?
It does take a little bit of practice. I won't lie. And it takes balance, yeah.
Oh,
so you actually zombies in here.
So Lincoln had his butt pointed straight out, and if I had boobs, they'd have been pointing up to the moon. And I'm running across the field chasing zombies about to fall off my heels. It was great. It was really, really fun. And I had a lot of fun. I'll tell you that the people who played zombies there, they were very, very diligent. They had a zombie school, and to teach them how to be the particular type of zombies they wanted for this movie. And everybody has their own idea how zombies should move. Some of them grumbled because they said, well, these zombies don't move fast enough. They just sort of shuffle. But everybody hewed the line and played the kind of zombies they wanted them to play. It was a dedicated film. Everybody on there really wanted people to have fun.
Well, I think that's important, to be real serious about what you're doing, even no matter what the outcome's supposed to be, and then it'll come across. So what else are you up to? What have you been up to?
I am doing my usual mix of movies and stage. I keep going back and forth because when I do one, I miss the other, and when I do the other, I miss the other. So right now I'm getting ready to start the new Rob Zombie movie. And then my stage project at the moment is called Ray Bradbury Live Forever. And it's a solo portrayal of Ray Bradbury. I got permission from his estate to do this. And this has been a dream project for a while, to try to do Ray Bradbury on stage in the way that Hal Holbrook did Mark Twain years ago.
Nice. And then you have been touring with that show?
That's a brand new show. We haven't done it yet. It's going to debut off-Broadway next year. And the process for getting off-Broadway begins with a staged reading in an off-Broadway theater. So that's coming up in April. And I will say that if any of your listeners are in the New York State area, if they are fans of your show, they're fans of Bradbury, fans of sci-fi, if you'd like to attend the stage reading, just send an email to raybradburyliveforever@gmail.com. Or you can just go to the website, raybradburyliveforever.com. And it will tell you how to ask for complimentary seats, because we will have producers and investors there, but I really want there to be some people in the room who just love Bradbury, love sci-fi, and love the material. And hopefully through this reading, we will find the group of investors that we need to move it forward and then produce it off Broadway. To me, it's an easy sell because Bradbury is about dinosaurs and rockets to Mars, and all of that really fun stuff but he's
Yeah.
also about the how do I put this best? The pathos of being human. He said, what drives me, this is Bradbury speaking, he said, what drives me is immense gratitude at having been given this one chance to live, this one time around in an experience that is both miraculous and desperate. I accept them both. I accept the whole damn thing. And that's what I love about him is he doesn't sugarcoat what humanity is, but he doesn't despair. He says that if we go to Mars, and we will, we're going to take with us every damn bit of our pettiness, our meanness, and our selfishness, but we'll also take with us our higher aspirations, and we'll see which one wins out. We'll just see. So that's why I love Bradbury.
Yeah, he definitely had a great, like even though he's writing about fantastical things, he had a great insight on humanity and his own humanity.
He also is prescient in ways that he wouldn't even recognize. I decided to do this show after the election of 2016 because I thought I wanted to do something with my art that lifted people up out of the morass that I saw us beginning to slide into. So we began this piece with a short story that he wrote in 1953, which is called The Murderer. And it's about a man who is a prisoner of the state because he has murdered his sentient house and his phone. He's tired of devices talking to him, and he's tired of being in touch. He no longer wants to be in touch all of the time, so he's considered insane. And then we move on to A Sound of Thunder, which is somebody who goes back in time, messes up the timeline, and they flip a crucial presidential election and find that the worst possible person has been elected president of the United States. He doesn't read. He's an anti-intellectual. He's anti-human. And this man has caused it. And so that's how we start the show. Yeah. Ray, he always said, I don't predict the future. I try to prevent it. But he did predict so many things. And Fahrenheit 451 is being turned into a movie by HBO, which stars Michael B. Jordan and Michael Shannon. And Jordan, of course, is hot off the Black Panther. So the fumes from that promotion for that movie airing in May is going to help this project.
That's great. I wanted to ask you, because you do a lot of stage and you do a lot of film and also television. They're all so different. Do you have a favorite? Do you have, I know you like to do them all. That's why you go back and forth. Is there a different mindset you have to get in? Because I know for me, they're such different mediums and you have to treat them differently.
They absolutely are different. And it depends on whether you want to date or whether you want to hop into bed. And that's the difference between them. Film, here's the three ways I break it down. Stage first. Stage is a blind date. You've never met this collective person who is the audience before, and you'll never meet them again. Oh my gosh, it sounds almost like a hookup. Okay, it's a blind, but you don't know that you won't meet them again. It's a blind date. And so you were on your best behavior and you were trying to learn about them as you go. You're feeling your way. Should I say this now fast or should I go kind of slow? And they're learning you. And if it works, by the end of the evening, you have a lean in for a little goodnight kiss, just a little peck. That's the bow. And then you leave both of you wanting more. Television is more like a controlled environment. Maybe it's a person that you've been dating for a while. You're still sort of into them. And so when you get together, it's very methodical. You move a little faster than you move when you were first dating, but you still enjoy it. Film is a whore. Film is a ravenous whore. Film, and I use whore I mean it as a compliment. I mean, film is an entity that wants you to touch it in a certain way. The camera wants you to touch it, stroke it, and make it feel good. and it won't give you much of an opportunity to do it. And if you don't do it the way it likes it, it'll very quickly look away from you and look towards somebody else. So when you're doing film, you have to be very, very aware of what you do well on camera and what you don't. It's very technical. Some of that bleeds over to television too, but especially film, because you don't get many tries, especially in indie film. So you need to learn as an actor, what light do I look best in? And it's not vanity. It's just, I have a limited set of things that I can project well on film. Anybody does. What light works with my face? What type of vocal mannerisms work well with my face? What archetype am I putting across to people? And so you better learn all of that and learn it really quick. And that's why successful actors who work a lot in film get accused of playing the same character over and over again. Because we do, because that character works, and everybody can't play everything.
Do you have a favorite?
Of what? Of what?
Of mediums.
No. It sounds like a cop out to say no, but each one can be so delicious. No. People disparage television because it shoots quickly, but then I think of my experience on Criminal Minds, which was a love fest for a horror fan from beginning to end. Because Matthew Gray Gubler, the director, he was a big horror fan. I got cast in that because I did an extra job in a movie called Excision, and a buddy of his, Richard Bates, had directed that. That's how he knew about me. The makeup person that I had was a huge Lon Chaney fan, and we decided to make the character sort of an homage to Lon Chaney. And I remember being on set with Adrienne Barbeau, who had been in so many great, horror movies that I love, The Fog and this and that, and working through those scenes. And so, yeah, even though you're working fast, it can be wonderful. And there are experiences on film that are wonderful. And Lord knows there are many, many times on stage when you just feel a transcendence, and the audience does too. So they're all great. And none of them are real. Tanya, that's the thing. Like, well, I don't know what's real anymore. Like, I'm touching a desk right now. Is this real, or is the conversation that we're having the reality? You know what I mean? Like, what is reality? Is it the physical reality? Is it what's going on in our mind?
Yeah. What's going on in our heads? Yeah. How we perceive what's happening, which could be different from person to person as well. My perception of this conversation is probably different than yours. Are they both real? Probably.
I think they are real.
In a sense.
I know that ever since I was a boy, when I was a kid, I learned that I could lie and make people believe it. And that got me into worlds of trouble. And so I turned to acting because I could do it legitimately then. But ever since I learned that I could make people believe that things were true that weren't true, I became very disillusioned myself, and I started looking for reality. What was real? What was real? And when you spend your whole life either backstage or learning lines or planning some illusion, I guess all creative people maybe feel this way when you do this sort of thing for a living. You spend your whole life creating illusions for other people. So you spend a lot of time wondering what is actually real. I even look at signage when I go into a bank or any institution, that looks like it's very, very solid. And I'll look and see how the illusion of solidity was created. What materials are used? Who put this together? What message is this giving us? And you realize that it isn't real. So there's very, very little in life that actually I think is real. I tend to think the stuff that's in our hearts and in our heads is more important than the physical stuff.
That's interesting, Bill. I used to work at a job where I used to work at a theater, and we used to have changes, and I would verbally tell people the changes. They would never believe me, but if I'd made a sign with the words on the paper and posted it in the window, they would believe me. But they wouldn't believe me as an employee telling them verbally, which I thought was interesting. Yeah.
So then they're like, I saw it on the sign, so it has to be true.
It has to be true. So then it's true. But when I tell you with my words, it's not true.
Well, is this why people believe things that they read online that are obviously foolishness?
Because it's written down, possibly because it's written in words. That could be. I don't know. Yeah, that could be like, and you wouldn't believe someone who might have told you that word of mouth.
Well, I know that on conspiracy theory videos and whatnot, I've read that the psychology of these is that if there's a graphic that reinforces what the narrator is intoning, that it's much more likely to be accepted. Like, you know, if I say Tanya Atomic, actually a piece of broccoli, if the words piece of broccoli appear very solidly in a stable type, then people will go like, damn, I didn't know Tanya was a piece of broccoli, but look, it says piece of broccoli.
Right there. In writing.
But they don't know that that just means that somebody typed it in.
Right, yeah. But this brings up an interesting, I don't want to cut you off if you have more.
No, you're not. Go ahead. I'm just blabbering.
After you did Coyote by Trevor Younger, I read somewhere where you had said that it was hard for you to shake that character after being so involved in it. And hearing what we're talking about now, I'm wondering, do you feel like when you get immersed into something you're doing creatively, do you feel like that you're not sure where that ends? Does that come into your everyday real life?
Yes, it can't not, to use a ridiculous triple negative, it can't not come into your everyday life, because otherwise you can't do it. For listeners, I know nobody's seen Coyote, or maybe a few of you have, but I would encourage you to watch it. It's by a young filmmaker named Trevor Younger, and it's called Coyote, and it's available. I think you can get it online and through Amazon and whatnot. But it's about a man who can't sleep, and he begins to hallucinate, and you don't know what's real and what's not. And by the end of the movie, you don't know if anything in the movie is real or not. And that's the way that it was filming it. Yes, that emotional reality becomes your reality. I know it's a cliche for actors, and people say, oh, you know, it's just a job. But if it really is just a job, then, and you just turn it off immediately after you're done, you're not going to be good at it.
So that must become, like in your search for, you know, what is reality and what is not, those emotions and that psychology basically must become part of your reality then.
That's very astute of you. Yes. I did a character called Papa Corn in a movie called Circus of the Dead. He was. What did
I just said it's another great film, Billy Pond.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Billy Pond's film. The clown was a serial killer. He was a necrophiliac. But beyond all of that, he was a nihilist. He believed that the world has no meaning, life has no meaning, that anything bad can happen at any moment for any reason, and none of it means anything. And to me, that's the most chilling, horrifying thought in the world, and living inside the head and the mind and the actions of this clown. I mean, people will giggle, oh, you were playing a clown. But I was playing a human being who believed that none of this means anything. And it was horrible, and it was horrifying, and it became a permanent part of my psyche. And it's still there. This nagging underlying feeling that there are people who believe that. And, you know, I call them the 3 a.m. questions. When you wake up at 3 a.m. and you have these ridiculous questions, you know, does my partner really love me? Does my life mean anything? You know, have I caused horrible harm to someone that I didn't even realize it? All these horrible questions that come at 3 a.m. Every character that you play gives you another 3 a.m. question.
It's an anxiety, like, of when your daily life is not being thought about and you have nothing you're doing, that little creeping anxiety.
That's right. The creeping anxiety, the 3 a.m. I think the 3 a.m. is why actors on a higher level that I'll never reach, that's why some of them end up leaving this earth prematurely, because the pressure of, you know, the pressure of it is just too much.
You know, that Circus of the Dead is so chilling and so scary because of that. Exactly. The attitudes of the characters, so frightening.
It was to me. I don't know, Tanya. You know, it's weird. We live in this sort of very ironic culture where most people will refuse to take anything seriously. Everything's a joke, and it's a very, very flippant culture, you know. So if you're sincere or earnest about questioning things and whatnot, you know, it's sort of looked down upon. But you know, it's just a clown movie. He's killing people. That's really cool. But I guess I'm cursed with always going straight to the questions, the 3 a.m. questions. It's why I'm not good at parties.
You know, I mean, I didn't take the movie that way. I thought it was scary, and in some, I mean, this is going to sound odd maybe, but in some ways beautiful, because it was so well done and so frightening. And I think it's a great film because of that. I don't think it's a fun film. It's not a fun film for me.
I feel the same way. And, you know, working on this Bradbury project, the centerpiece of the show that I'm doing here is a piece from Something Wicked Dwells, where Mr. Dark's in the library. And he's offering old man Charles Halloway what he truly wants, which is to be young again, if he'll just give up his son and his friend, if he'll give up his family. And it's horrifying because a part of Halloway wants it. He wants to be young again that much. And there's a beauty in the purity of what Mr. Dark offers. You know, if there is a devil, there's a beauty and a simplicity in the devil saying, let it all go. Just let it all go. You can have everything you ever wanted. All you have to do is let go. See how easy it is? Just one finger. There you go. There you go. Now let the other finger go. That's it. Now just let go. And suddenly you've let go and you're falling and you're falling and you're falling and there's only abyss below you. It's beautiful, it's elegant, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what draw for you felt yourself or others that horror was, but I feel like we've answered that. It's the 3 a.m. questions. I feel like that answers that right there.
It's death. Death is out there for all of us. It's, you know, death is the inevitable. It's the one thing nobody wants, but it will happen. And whether it's a parent that you lose or a partner, or whether you have to put a loved animal to sleep, it's that constant reminder that all of this ends, all of this ends, all of this ends. And I think that's the root of horror. When you're young, you think it's really cool to watch death because you're never going to die. And so you're into movies like Final Destination and slasher films and whatnot. And then as you grow older, you start to deal with the reality that it is going to happen and questions of what is it. And of course you want there to be some meaning to what has happened before you leave this earth. There's some meaning to everything that you've done. There's got to be some meaning. And so that's why a character whose worldview is that there is no meaning is so damn horrifying. So yeah, for me, it's all about, horror is all about death and the various ways that we approach it, whether it's bravely to say, you know, you son of a bitch. What did Captain Spaulding say? I think it was in The Devil's Rejects. We said, you better kill me good, or you better kill me good, or I'm going to come back and make you my bitch, or something like that. You know, saying that to death, or being horrified when it comes. I don't know. It's all about that.
Well, Bill, I could talk to you for a very long time, much, much longer than this, but for our segment, we should probably wrap it up. But I did want to ask you if there's anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up.
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to have a conversation. We haven't said anything of worth, of course, but those are the best conversations, right? Because, like, when you read a novel, it's not really about the plot; it's about the asides. So, thank you for 20 minutes of wonderful asides. I love you, Tanya, and I'm really, really thankful that you're my friend, and I'm grateful for this conversation. Thank you.
So, can you tell the listeners out there where they can find out more about you?
If anybody wanted to. Yeah, if you want to, you could go to billoberst.com. It's a new website. Some cool stuff on there. A little hand comes up and it draws stuff. Yeah, you could look at that. You could go to my Ray Bradbury site, raybradburyliveforever.com, and you can follow me on all the social media. If you just Google creepy son of a bitch, I'll probably come up too.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Tanya.
Okay, today on Zombie Animals, we have Nudia with us again for this section, and we're talking about zombies. This is for the things that we love. Now, we don't love zombies. In fact, we love to hate them. Whew, creepy.
Well, since this is an actual fact, it's a real stuff going on in nature.
Yes.
That's why we love to hate this.
Yes.
The idea of all this situation.
Yeah, I love to hate it so much. I want to just burn it to the ground.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love to hate it so much. I want to bury it 12 feet underground and put rocks on top.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. So these things are real. And what they are is it's bees that are attacked by a parasitic fly. And we watched a video, and the thing just goes so quick. It just lands on the bee. It injects it with a little stinger and injects eggs into its body. The eggs take about 5 days to ripen, whatever they do. And then they start eating their way out of the bee. But during that process, the bee goes through this, where it's flying at night and it's just walking around like a zombie.
Yeah, it affects the brain as well.
Exactly, yeah. It's a real sad epiphany that we watched on the bee, because she suffers, or the bee, it suffers insomnia to start. So they are not a night creature, but they turn to be night creatures because of the parasite. Seems so, according with the study that they did in this video.
Yeah, and then I think at the last stage they can't even fly anymore.
No, yeah, they just wander,
walk around.
Yeah.
And that's how they discovered it, I think, is they were like, why are all these bees out at night and walking around on the ground?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Actually, they look like dead. Like they are dead, but they are just landing on the floor.
Yeah. And they're attracted to light at night, too.
Oh, so like
But
moths.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, they changed the whole behavior.
But, then we thought that was really, really horrible. And this whole segment was going to be on zombies. And then we found this caterpillar.
Oh, yeah.
It's
even worse.
Something worse.
A parasitic wasp. So did you guys see that video?
Yes. That was creepy.
We were eating lunch. What did you think? You talk. Oh my God.
I had just finished lunch, fortunately. So and
No,
it stayed down.
I was eating a chicken quesadilla while I was watching that video. I dare our listeners to do that.
Oh, God. Yeah, do that, but with a trash can close by. Oh my gosh.
Well, tell us about it. I mean, somebody else described it.
One of the grossest parts to me is, okay, so these little wasp babies are inside this caterpillar, and they grow, and they use like the caterpillar's body as a makeshift womb.
And they avoid all the major organs,
they're living inside the caterpillar's body and the juices of its body, and wiggling around and being very careful. The video said not to damage the caterpillar's organs.
Yeah.
They're like living in between its organs. I mean,
it's like they are so smart, and they are programmed in a way that even being a larvae, they know what to do and what to avoid doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And we thought that was bad, but that's not all. Go on, Tanya.
Yes, keep going, Tanya.
So then it said that the wasp larvae had like razor sharp teeth that were only to be able to eat its way out of the caterpillar's body. That's the only reason why they have those teeth. So they chew their way out of the caterpillar's body and are basically like born. They wiggle out of its body, and the caterpillar stays
Correct.
alive.
That's what I was going to say.
And
the
then
caterpillar survives.
Yeah, that's
That.
my favorite part.
Yeah.
Not favorite, to hate. My favorite part to hate.
Oh, okay. And I just got to interject, the mouth on that thing, it looked just like those big creatures from the movie Dune. Did you ever see it, right?
Oh yeah,
It
those
was like they copied those. But make them way, way bigger. But
Right.
that's not all. Keep going, Tanya.
That's not all. So the caterpillar, when they get injected with the babies, it also acts as a virus, and it changes the caterpillar's brain chemistry. So the caterpillar actually stays alive, helps these little, pupa or whatever they are at that stage, develop a cocoon. So it helps them create a cocoon, and it uses its own cocoon that it would normally use for itself to become a butterfly. It uses all its cocoon webbing to go around the babies, and then it like sits on them like a mom on its nest, and basically protects the babies until they're born, and then it dies of starvation because it can't go through its own cocoon process.
It's horrible.
And because she doesn't abandon them. That's why she's not grabbing feet or something.
Right.
So she's now kind of like programmed in a way that she's the mother or something like that. I don't know who's worse, if the wasp's larvae or her being that bad on herself.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they think it changes her brain chemistry so it doesn't understand what it's doing, and it starts working for the babies.
Ew.
Yeah, it's like its willed got kidnapped and reprogrammed or something like that.
I mean, like a true zombie. Like a
Correct.
true zombie.
Yes, yeah. That's why we were calling it the caterpillar zombie instead of the wasp.
Yeah.
The zombie is a caterpillar.
Wow.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the wasp mother's off on a beach somewhere, drinking Mai Tais and having a great time.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other gross part is they said at that point of the larval stage, the only the only predator that they had was being impregnated by more predators.
Yeah.
So the little larvae growing into wasps could have also been impregnated by a predator too.
Oh my gosh.
Or injected another parasite.
Yeah.
As well.
Right. They inject each other. Man, that's a nasty net. I'm so creeped out. I can't stop scratching. I'm like, so yeah, love to hate that so much. I just hate it.
Yes.
And I hope to never see one. And I hope to never be one.
Of course.
And that's it for zombies. And again, we'll be posting these links and videos. They're very interesting to watch. Just don't be eating a chicken quesadilla when you're doing it.
And it's kind of like worse than a horror movie because this is real life.
Yes.
Nature. Just pure nature.
It is. It's worse.
Go watch
for
it.
me.
Go watch it, kids.
Go watch it. And that's the end of this segment. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Jackie's Hand of Horror. For links and more information on the fun and sometimes horrible things we discuss, please visit us on Facebook at Jackie's Hand of Horror, and that's Jackie with an EY. Thanks again for listening today, and special thanks to the great people who come together to make this podcast possible. My co-host, Tanya Atomic and Rachel Jackson, and also Greg Talley, Ron McAdams, Natalie Ryan, and the rest of the crew at the Revival League podcast. Join us again in 2 weeks for another fun podcast.